The question of whether we are alone in the universe has captivated human imagination for centuries. From ancient civilizations gazing up at the night sky, wondering about the stars, to modern-day space exploration, the possibility of extraterrestrial life has been a source of both curiosity and awe. Ancient mythologies often included gods, spirits, and beings from other realms or planets. Even in the early days of human exploration, the idea of life beyond Earth seemed both plausible and fascinating. But today, we no longer have to rely on mythology. Our understanding of space and the universe is more grounded in science than ever before. With each passing year, as we venture further into space, the question of extraterrestrial life becomes not just a matter of curiosity, but of potential discovery. The development of powerful telescopes and space missions has allowed scientists to search for exoplanets, planets located outside of our solar system, some of which may have conditions suitable for life. The discovery of water, the building block of life, on distant moons and planets has fueled the belief that life could exist elsewhere in the universe. But despite these advancements, we are still left with a very fundamental question: where is everyone? The Fermi Paradox captures this contradiction perfectly. If the universe is so vast, and if the conditions for life are common across billions of planets, then why haven't we found any evidence of extraterrestrial life? Why has space remained so silent despite the apparent likelihood of other civilizations? This question, first posed by the physicist Enrico Fermi in the 1950s, challenges our assumptions about life in the cosmos. It suggests that, given the number of stars in our galaxy alone, many of which have planets in their habitable zones, the chances of life developing somewhere should be high. So why have we not heard from them? This paradox is not just a puzzle for astronomers and scientists. It's a question that raises deep emotional and existential concerns. The absence of extraterrestrial signals could suggest that intelligent civilizations are incredibly rare, or that we are simply too early in our development to make contact. But the silence could also imply that civilizations inevitably self-destruct before they are able to communicate across vast cosmic distances. The Fermi Paradox challenges our beliefs about humanity's place in the universe and the very nature of life, intelligence, and civilization. But the question that arises from all this is not just a matter of whether intelligent life exists elsewhere. It's also about our readiness to face the possibility of first contact. If we were to encounter alien life, how would humanity react? Would we be prepared to communicate, understand, or even cooperate with extraterrestrial beings? Or perhaps more troublingly, are we ready to handle the dangers of such an encounter? The excitement of discovering alien life is tempered by the realization that we don't know what we'd be up against. It's easy to imagine that alien civilizations might be benevolent, eager to share knowledge and technology. However, what if their motives are more self-serving? Or if they view us as insignificant or even exploitable? After all, history has taught us that encounters between civilizations, even on Earth, don't always end well. The consequences of such contact could be far-reaching, and the potential dangers might be greater than we ever imagined. That leads us to another crucial question. Are we truly ready to meet aliens? We may have the technology to detect their signals, study distant planets, and even venture out into space, but are we prepared for the psychological, societal, and ethical challenges that first contact would bring? The answers to these questions go beyond science. They touch on the very fabric of what it means to be human and how we define our place in the universe. In this video, we'll explore the dangers and hopes of first contact. We'll look at the potential risks, technological, biological, and cultural, that come with the possibility of discovering intelligent alien life. And we'll examine the optimistic possibilities, what we stand to gain, those scientific breakthroughs, and the potential for a unified humanity in the face of an event that would change everything. But before we dive into these possibilities, we need to ask, are we truly ready for first contact? As we explore this question, we'll address the psychological implications, the political challenges, and the social dynamics of such an encounter. How can we prepare as a global society for a future where we are no longer the only intelligent life in the universe? While the idea of discovering extraterrestrial life is undeniably exciting, we must also acknowledge the potential dangers that come with such an event. The reality of first contact could be far more complex and dangerous than we might imagine. Just as humanity's history has shown that the arrival of a new civilization often leads to conflict, exploitation, or misunderstanding, the possibility of first contact with an alien species could pose similar risks. We must ask ourselves, what if the encounter is not peaceful? What if the aliens we encounter do not have our best interests at heart? What are the risks to humanity and the planet if first contact doesn't go as we hope? One of the primary dangers we must consider is the technological disparity between us and any alien civilization capable of making contact. If extraterrestrials have advanced enough technology to travel across vast interstellar distances, it stands to reason that they may possess technologies far beyond what we can currently comprehend or defend against. The knowledge that they might have superior weapons, spacefaring capabilities, and advanced energy sources raises the question, how would we protect ourselves? What if these aliens are not coming to share knowledge, but rather to conquer, exploit resources, or even treat us as insignificant? If the aliens are far more advanced than we are, we would be at their mercy in terms of defense. We would be unable to compete with their technology, which could include advanced weaponry, cyber warfare, or even methods of altering or manipulating our environment. The power imbalance would be undeniable. While we might hope for peace and cooperation, the reality of such an encounter could be much darker. What if they view us as primitive? And what if their actions, even if not directly hostile, lead to unintended harm? The potential for unforeseen consequences is immense. Another significant danger is biological contamination. If extraterrestrials are indeed visiting our planet, we must consider the biological risks they may bring with them. In the past, the arrival of new species, whether through colonization or trade, has led to the spread of diseases that devastated indigenous populations. Similarly, the introduction of alien bacteria, viruses, or other life forms could be just as catastrophic. We are not immune to the pathogens that may be present on alien worlds, and our ecosystems may be vulnerable to alien life forms that we have never encountered before. On the other side of the coin, we could also carry our own contaminants that could pose risks to alien life. It's possible that we could unknowingly spread terrestrial microbes to their homeworlds, causing ecological imbalances or harm. The notion of cross-species contamination, where both alien and human life forms exchange harmful microorganisms, could threaten not only the health of both species, but also the stability of our ecosystems. This biological cross-contamination could make first contact a double-edged sword, where both sides have to carefully navigate the impact of their interactions on the other's biology. The psychological impact on humanity is another critical danger that we must address. If we were to discover that we are not alone, the psychological toll could be severe. While the idea of meeting aliens may seem exciting to some, it could provoke deep existential anxiety for others. For centuries, humanity has operated under the assumption that we are the only intelligent species in the cosmos. We have built our cultural, religious, and philosophical systems around the belief that we are unique, that we are the center of the universe. The discovery that other intelligent life exists would undermine these assumptions and force us to confront uncomfortable truths about our place in the grand scheme of things. The implications for religion would be enormous. For many religious groups, the discovery of alien life might challenge the very foundations of their beliefs. If aliens are more advanced, have a different view of the universe, or have their own spiritual practices, how would these faiths reconcile the idea of another intelligent life? Would it cause faith crises, leading people to question their understanding of God or the creation of life? Could religious unity withstand the discovery that our understanding of the universe is far from complete? Or would it spark a new spiritual awakening as people expand their understanding of the divine and our connection to the broader cosmos? For others, the discovery of alien life might fuel fear and paranoia. What if the aliens are not friendly, or if they have hostile intentions? The fear of alien invasion is deeply ingrained in popular culture, from sci-fi movies to conspiracy theories. And while we might hope for peaceful relations, we must consider that aliens could be indifferent to our existence, or worse, they could see us as insignificant or in the way of their own expansion. The unknown would be terrifying, especially if the aliens' motivations are unclear or if their presence destabilizes life on Earth in ways we can't yet predict. Even if the aliens are peaceful, we must also consider how their arrival might alter the global balance of power. First contact could have significant economic, political, and social repercussions. If extraterrestrial technology or resources become available, would they be distributed equally across nations, or would certain countries hoard the benefits, exacerbating existing inequalities? Would alien contact lead to global cooperation or further division? The introduction of alien knowledge, resources, and technology could lead to massive shifts in society, causing societal unrest as different factions struggle for control over these new opportunities. Finally, we must also think about how we perceive ourselves in the context of a galaxy full of intelligent beings. The existential questions that would arise: what makes us unique? What is our purpose? How do we view other life forms? Are not just philosophical musings. They would have practical implications for how we navigate intergalactic relations. Could we cooperate with extraterrestrials, or would our differences make it impossible to forge peaceful alliances? While the dangers of first contact are significant and should not be underestimated, we must also consider the immense potential and hope that such an event could bring. The possibility of encountering an advanced extraterrestrial civilization is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that could reshape humanity's future in ways we can scarcely imagine. If handled well, first contact could lead to scientific breakthroughs, technological advancements, and a deeper understanding of our place in the universe. Let's start with the scientific potential. If an alien civilization were to reach out to us, the knowledge exchange could be nothing short of revolutionary. Just think of the possibilities: the discovery of new technologies, the sharing of advanced knowledge about the cosmos, and the unlocking of secrets about life itself. Alien civilizations may have long surpassed us in areas like space exploration, medicine, and energy production. What if their knowledge could help us solve the greatest challenges we face today, such as climate change, disease, or the energy crisis? Imagine if extraterrestrials shared their knowledge about sustainable energy sources far beyond the capabilities of our own technology. This could drastically reduce our dependence on fossil fuels and help combat climate change. What if they had discovered cures for diseases like cancer or AIDS? Advanced medical technologies could lead to new treatments, increasing lifespans and improving the quality of life for people across the globe. The possibilities are endless, and the benefits of such an exchange could revolutionize human society and dramatically improve the lives of billions. First contact could also accelerate our development in space exploration. Imagine the knowledge we could gain about interstellar travel, space colonization, and advanced propulsion systems. These technologies could allow us to explore other star systems, perhaps even establishing colonies on other planets or moons within our galaxy. The alien civilizations may have vast experience in these fields, sharing insights and techniques that would allow us to expand beyond Earth and become a multi-planetary species. The discovery of alien life could set humanity on the path to becoming an interstellar civilization, a monumental leap forward in human history. Along with the scientific and technological benefits, first contact could bring cultural enrichment. The opportunity to interact with an alien civilization would challenge our understanding of life, intelligence, and consciousness. Just as contact with different cultures on Earth has led to the exchange of ideas, art, and philosophy, so too could our encounter with extraterrestrial beings inspire new forms of art, literature, and philosophy. We might gain new perspectives on ethics, morality, and spirituality from an entirely different worldview. The cultural exchange between humanity and an alien civilization could foster a deeper sense of unity. Knowing that we are not alone in the universe could inspire a global movement to address the common challenges we face on Earth, such as poverty, inequality, and environmental degradation. The knowledge that we share the cosmos with other intelligent beings could push us to act as a more cohesive and cooperative global community, uniting us under the banner of a shared cosmic heritage. We could put aside our differences and work together to solve the problems that threaten our survival. Another hopeful aspect of first contact is the potential for philosophical growth. The discovery of intelligent extraterrestrial life would force us to confront some of the biggest questions in science, religion, and philosophy. If the aliens have achieved the same level of self-awareness and consciousness as we have, how does that change our understanding of what it means to be human? Could their form of intelligence be so different from ours that it forces us to rethink the very definition of intelligence? Could it prompt us to expand our understanding of life itself, seeing it as a force that is capable of manifesting in ways that we can't even imagine? The encounter with alien life could also lead to a new era of diplomacy. If alien civilizations are as advanced as we hope, they may have already developed a form of intergalactic diplomacy. Perhaps they have encountered other species and have learned how to coexist peacefully with them. By making contact with such a civilization, we might gain valuable insights into how to maintain peace, resolve conflicts, and foster cooperation not only within our own species, but with other galactic neighbors. The idea of galactic diplomacy could open the door to an entirely new form of international relations, one that stretches far beyond the confines of Earth. As we contemplate the reality of first contact with extraterrestrial life, a critical question emerges. Are we prepared for such an event? Despite our growing scientific and technological advancements, humanity is far from ready to handle the complexities and challenges that would accompany the discovery of intelligent alien life. The reality of first contact would require not only scientific preparation, but also social, psychological, and political readiness. It would demand a multifaceted approach to ensure that we navigate such an unprecedented event carefully and thoughtfully. One of the first areas where preparation is crucial is communication. We may assume that once we detect an alien signal, it will be easy to decode and that we will be able to establish meaningful contact. But in reality, this is far from guaranteed. We currently have no frame of reference for what alien communication might look like. Could their method of communication be based on something we don't understand? Perhaps they use an entirely different set of senses, or they could communicate through means that we have never even imagined, like quantum entanglement, electromagnetic waves, or neural patterns. To prepare for first contact, we would need to start developing a deeper understanding of alien languages or signaling methods. This is where interdisciplinary research becomes vital. Scientists from fields such as linguistics, physics, artificial intelligence, and even neuroscience would need to collaborate in order to develop ways to interpret the potential signals. A global effort would be required to gather, analyze, and interpret these signals in a way that is both scientifically sound and culturally respectful. We would also need to consider the possibility that communication with aliens might not even be auditory or visual, but instead could involve some form of direct neural exchange. Maybe they communicate through thoughts, emotions, or even biological signals. In addition to communication, humanity would also need to prepare for the psychological impact of first contact. If we are honest with ourselves, the reality is that we are nowhere near prepared for the psychological upheaval that the discovery of alien life could cause. Our psychological preparedness for the existence of extraterrestrial intelligence is severely lacking. For some, first contact would be a moment of awe, a confirmation that the universe is full of wonders beyond our comprehension. But for many, the realization that we are not alone could trigger profound existential and psychological crises. If we are honest, we must acknowledge that the idea of first contact could be terrifying for many people. The thought that we are not the only intelligent species in the universe could shatter the foundational beliefs of many individuals, communities, and even entire nations. Humanity's sense of uniqueness and centrality in the cosmos has been deeply embedded in our religious and cultural systems for centuries. The discovery of an alien civilization, especially one that is more advanced than us, could provoke feelings of inferiority, insecurity, and fear. A common psychological reaction to such a monumental event could be denial. Some might outright reject the possibility of first contact, or insist that any signs of extraterrestrial life are part of a larger conspiracy. There could be a collective effort to suppress or downplay the discovery, driven by the inability to cope with such a profound change in how we view the universe. Others might experience intense anxiety, unable to reconcile the existential implications of first contact. These reactions are normal in the face of the unknown, but they highlight the importance of psychological preparedness in dealing with extraterrestrial life. The social fabric of humanity could also be tested. People across the world might react in a variety of ways, leading to a global divide in how the discovery of extraterrestrial life is handled. Governments would need to be prepared for the psychosocial effects on their populations. There could be mass panic, confusion, or social unrest in response to the sudden realization that we are not alone. But this could also be a moment of global unity as nations come together to face this unprecedented reality. The key question would be whether humanity can set aside its political, religious, and cultural differences in the face of such a profound event, or whether the encounter with extraterrestrials would exacerbate existing tensions and divisions. When the news of first contact reaches Earth, it is likely to send shockwaves through every corner of the planet. The profound significance of discovering that we are not alone in the universe would be impossible to ignore. The emotional, psychological, and social impact on humanity could be far-reaching. Yet, as much as first contact could bring us together in awe and wonder, there's also the distinct possibility that it could divide humanity further. Whether it unites us or splits us apart will largely depend on how we, as a species, respond to this momentous event. One of the most hopeful outcomes of first contact would be the possibility of global unity. The realization that we are part of something larger than ourselves, that we share the universe with other intelligent life forms, could spark a profound shift in human consciousness. It could serve as a powerful catalyst for cooperation, not just on a national level, but on a global scale. We might begin to see ourselves as members of a broader cosmic community unified by our shared place in the universe. This could inspire international collaboration on pressing issues like climate change, resource management, and world peace. Faced with the enormity of first contact, humanity might recognize that our divisions, whether political, cultural, or ideological, pale in comparison to the reality of interacting with a vastly more advanced civilization. For many, the idea of encountering intelligent extraterrestrial life could foster a new sense of collective purpose. The prospect of joining an intergalactic community could encourage us to put aside differences and focus on solving global challenges. Humanity's shared experience with the alien civilization could inspire a more united, cooperative, and peaceful world order, one in which global cooperation is not just a lofty goal, but a practical necessity. However, the possibility of global unity in the face of first contact must be tempered by the reality of human nature. History has shown that encounters between civilizations, even those within our own species, often lead to conflict, exploitation, and division. The discovery of extraterrestrial life could similarly lead to political rivalry and nationalistic tendencies as countries scramble to assert their dominance or gain control over alien technology, knowledge, or resources. Governments may use the opportunity to assert power, and economic interests could drive nations to compete over the spoils of first contact. The pressure to be the first to engage with alien civilizations or to control the potential benefits of their technology could deepen geopolitical tensions rather than foster cooperation. The fear of the unknown might also amplify existing divisions. First contact could provoke paranoia and distrust among populations as people question the motives of extraterrestrial life and the intentions of their governments. The initial shock of realizing that we are not alone in the universe might lead to widespread social unrest as individuals and communities react in fear and uncertainty. Throughout history, fear of the unknown has led to the demonization of outsiders, and extraterrestrials could easily become the next target of mistrust and xenophobia. If the aliens are vastly more advanced than we are, their arrival could be seen as a threat rather than an opportunity, leading to militarization and defensive posturing. There's also the economic aspect to consider. The discovery of extraterrestrial life and the subsequent sharing of alien technology could lead to economic upheaval. If alien technology offers solutions to our most pressing problems, such as energy production, transportation, or medicine, its impact on the global economy could be massive. On one hand, these advancements could spark a new economic boom, leading to prosperity for all. But on the other hand, the unequal distribution of alien resources could exacerbate global inequality. Wealthier nations or powerful corporations could monopolize access to alien technologies, leaving the less privileged to struggle without the same opportunities. This could lead to social unrest, as people demand fair access to the benefits of first contact. The potential social and political upheaval caused by first contact underscores the importance of global preparedness. If humanity is to handle the potential risks and rewards of first contact, we must begin laying the groundwork for international cooperation and coordination now. Organizations like the United Nations or the UN could play a crucial role in coordinating global responses, ensuring that the benefits of contact are shared equitably and that humanity as a whole approaches the situation with caution, unity, and respect. International cooperation must extend not only to addressing the immediate challenges of first contact, but also to the long-term governance of any alien technologies or resources that may be discovered. The question of leadership is also critical. Who would speak for Earth in the event of first contact? Would it be a single government or a coalition of nations, or would we have to rely on a more decentralized approach? The role of science, ethics, and humanitarianism would be key to ensuring that we approach the encounter with respect and responsibility. It would be crucial to have trusted leaders, perhaps from both the scientific community and civil society, who can guide the conversation with extraterrestrial beings in ways that promote peace and cooperation. The discovery of intelligent alien life would have a profound effect on humanity's religious and spiritual beliefs. For centuries, the idea that we are the only intelligent species in the cosmos has been woven into the very fabric of human existence. Our religions, philosophies, and worldviews have been built on the premise that humanity holds a special place in the universe. But if we were to meet an alien civilization, everything would change. The discovery of intelligent extraterrestrial life could shake the foundations of faith and spirituality, forcing us to reevaluate everything we thought we knew about life, the universe, and our purpose within it. Religious leaders and spiritual thinkers would be among the first to wrestle with the implications of first contact. For many religions, the idea that we are the only intelligent species in the cosmos could present a crisis of belief. Would aliens be seen as part of God's creation, or would their existence challenge the very concept of humanity's unique role in the universe? For example, the Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, often emphasize the special relationship between humankind and God. The idea that God created us in His image has been a cornerstone of religious thought for centuries. But if we find that other intelligent life forms exist, and perhaps even possess their own advanced technologies, it could cause deep theological questions. How does this change our relationship with God? Are we still the chosen species? Do other beings have souls? If extraterrestrial life forms are far more advanced than we are, what would this say about the limitations of human knowledge and existence? Would we feel threatened by the idea that we are not unique and that our place in the cosmos is not as central as we thought? For those whose religions or spiritual practices are based on the idea of human exceptionalism, first contact could be deeply unsettling, even frightening. The very fabric of human identity, built on the assumption of our uniqueness, would be challenged, leading to a loss of confidence in humanity's spiritual or philosophical mission. Furthermore, what would alien civilizations themselves believe? If they were to have a deep understanding of spirituality or philosophy, could they offer insights that might influence or reshape our human beliefs? The discovery of their beliefs, customs, and understanding of the universe could challenge our worldview in profound ways. The encounter could question everything we've been taught about life, consciousness, and the divine, forcing humanity to expand its understanding beyond the narrow confines of Earth-centered thinking. There's also the issue of religious leaders and the role they play in guiding humanity's response to extraterrestrial life. Would they be able to lead their communities through the challenges posed by first contact, or would they resist the encounter, clinging to a belief that contradicts the existence of other intelligent beings? The reaction of religious institutions to the event could have profound societal effects. A split among religious groups over how to interpret the encounter could lead to tensions and possibly even conflict. On the other hand, if religious leaders were able to embrace the discovery of extraterrestrial life, it could provide a new opportunity for global unity, a shift towards a more inclusive worldview where humanity sees itself as part of a much larger cosmic family. First contact would also raise ethical questions for humanity's spiritual leaders. Should we treat extraterrestrial beings with the same moral respect and consideration we give to other sentient species on Earth? If the aliens have their own forms of consciousness and intelligence, what moral responsibilities do we have in our interactions with them? These are the same questions that arise when we consider how humans treat the environment and animals on Earth. Questions about rights, ethics, and the value of life. The first encounter with extraterrestrial life may well serve as the greatest test of humanity's ethical principles. First contact with an alien civilization could have a profound psychological impact on humanity. The discovery that we are not alone in the universe would undoubtedly cause a deep shift in our collective consciousness, affecting the way we view ourselves, our place in the cosmos, and our future as a species. While the excitement of meeting extraterrestrial life could be invigorating, it also raises psychological challenges that we may not be prepared for. For many people, the discovery of alien life could be a moment of awe, a source of wonder and curiosity. The idea that there are other intelligent beings out there could spark new interest in science, technology, and space exploration. It could push humanity to unite in the pursuit of knowledge, creating a shared sense of purpose. First contact might lead to new avenues of intellectual discovery and inspiration as we try to understand the nature of these aliens, their technology, and their culture. The potential to learn from extraterrestrial civilizations could be a powerful motivator, leading to unprecedented levels of scientific and cultural progress. However, the psychological impact of first contact is not only about excitement and wonder. For some, the discovery of alien life could be deeply unsettling. The idea that we are not the center of the universe, that intelligent beings exist elsewhere, could undermine humanity's long-held beliefs about its specialness and uniqueness. The humbling realization that we are one species among many could lead to feelings of inferiority and existential doubt. For some, the knowledge that we are not alone could lead to a crisis of identity, as humanity grapples with its newfound understanding of its place in the grand scheme of the universe. This psychological impact would likely affect different people in different ways. Some might feel liberated by the realization that life exists elsewhere, while others might feel small and insignificant. For those whose beliefs are rooted in human exceptionalism, the discovery of alien civilizations could challenge their faith and their understanding of life's purpose. Could alien life be more advanced than ours? If so, does that diminish our value or significance? Would we still consider ourselves the most intelligent species, or would we be forced to rethink the very concept of intelligence? For some individuals, the news of first contact might trigger a profound sense of disorientation. Humanity's long-standing sense of autonomy and control over Earth and the cosmos could be shaken to its core. People may experience feelings of displacement as they realize that the universe is far more complex and vast than they had ever imagined. The certainty that we are the dominant species could be replaced with a more humble view, leading to existential anxiety. This type of psychological shock might cause people to question their purpose in the world. If we are no longer at the top of the hierarchy of intelligence, where do we fit in the larger cosmic scheme? Additionally, the discovery of alien life could cause widespread fear. The unknown nature of the extraterrestrials, whether they are benevolent or hostile, could provoke intense anxiety. What if these aliens are not friendly? What if they have no interest in peaceful exchange, and instead they view us as a threat or a resource to be exploited? The fear of the unknown would likely be a powerful psychological response as humanity struggles to understand the aliens' motivations and capabilities. This fear could manifest in irrational behaviors, from panic and paranoia to the development of conspiracy theories about the true nature of the extraterrestrial visitors. Furthermore, the intensity of the shock might lead to psychological trauma for some individuals, just as global crises such as natural disasters, pandemics, or major political upheavals can lead to widespread mental health issues. So too could first contact. The uncertainty of the situation, coupled with the fear of the unknown, could strain mental health systems worldwide. The psychological toll could be particularly hard on people who already struggle with anxiety, depression, or identity crises. Public support systems, including mental health care, would need to be prepared for an influx of people seeking help in the aftermath of first contact. As much as first contact could spark moments of unity and excitement, it also poses a significant risk of division and psychological trauma. Humanity's ability to cope with the event will depend on how prepared we are to deal with the emotional and psychological challenges that arise. If we fail to address these concerns, the mental strain could undermine the potential benefits of first contact, leading to social instability and further anxiety. In light of these challenges, it is essential to begin preparing psychologically for the possibility of alien contact. Governments, mental health professionals, and cultural leaders will need to work together to create frameworks for addressing the psychosocial impacts of the event. Public awareness campaigns, counseling services, and educational programs could help individuals and communities process the discovery and manage the emotional fallout. The global response to first contact must include psychological preparation alongside technological and diplomatic strategies. As we contemplate the prospect of first contact with extraterrestrial life, one of the most critical aspects to consider is the role of governments and international cooperation. The discovery of alien life would not only be a scientific breakthrough, but a global event, one that would require careful coordination and response from governments across the world. In many ways, the process of dealing with first contact would represent a test of humanity's ability to set aside nationalistic interests and work together in the face of an unprecedented challenge. The first priority for governments around the world would be to ensure clear communication with their citizens. In the immediate aftermath of first contact, it's likely that the world would experience a mix of excitement, fear, and confusion. Governments would have to act quickly to inform the public, keeping them calm and providing them with accurate information. The question is, how will governments communicate this news? Will they share the discovery immediately, or will they try to control the flow of information to manage the public reaction? How they respond in the first hours and days after first contact will likely set the tone for the entire global response. It's also essential to recognize that the reaction of governments might vary based on cultural, political, and ideological differences. Some governments may be more open to international cooperation, while others may see first contact as an opportunity to strengthen their national security or economic power. The potential for conflict between nations could be high, especially if resources related to first contact, whether alien technology, knowledge, or physical artifacts, are perceived as a competitive advantage. How will governments balance cooperation with their own self-interest? And how will they negotiate their individual concerns on the global stage? In an ideal scenario, first contact could act as a catalyst for unified global cooperation. The realization that we are not alone in the universe might push us to see ourselves not as separate nations, but as a single global civilization. In this context, international organizations like the United Nations could play a pivotal role in managing first contact. The UN has a long history of facilitating global dialogue and cooperation, and it could serve as the international body responsible for ensuring that first contact is handled in a peaceful and orderly manner. The UN could help set up frameworks for communication, diplomacy, and the ethical management of alien technologies or resources. The challenge will be ensuring that the global response is coordinated and inclusive rather than fragmented and competitive. The potential for military conflict is another concern. While many people would likely advocate for peaceful cooperation, there may be factions within governments or the military that view the alien presence as a threat, whether due to their advanced technology or the unknown nature of their intentions. The temptation to militarize first contact could be strong, especially if there are fears of alien aggression or the desire to dominate any technological or strategic advantages. This fear could escalate into tensions between nations, or even trigger military responses in an attempt to defend Earth or assert dominance. What's needed is a coordinated effort to prevent militarization of the alien encounter and to focus on building diplomatic relations. The creation of an international council or space agency specifically dedicated to managing first contact could help ensure that the global response is calm, rational, and united. This body could also focus on the long-term consequences of first contact, from the ethical considerations of alien interaction to the sharing of knowledge and resources across borders. The creation of such an organization would be an important step in preparing humanity for the challenges that lie ahead. Furthermore, scientific cooperation will be crucial in preparing for first contact. Governments must encourage collaboration between national space agencies, scientific organizations, and private companies involved in space exploration. The more information we gather about the alien species, the better equipped we will be to handle the cultural, technological, and biological challenges they present. Space agencies like NASA, the European Space Agency, and China's space program, among others, should work together to set up protocols for analyzing alien communication, technologies, and biology. This interdisciplinary cooperation will be essential in ensuring that we respond to first contact in a way that is both scientifically sound and socially responsible. One important issue that would require international cooperation is the ethics of interacting with extraterrestrial life. We would need to establish universal ethical guidelines for interacting with alien species. These guidelines would need to address questions such as, how should we treat alien species? Do they have the same rights and protections as humans? Or is our ethical framework different for them? If we discover alien civilizations, should we treat them as we do humans? Or are we justified in prioritizing our own interests? These ethical challenges would require input not only from scientists and governments, but also philosophers, religious leaders, and humanitarian organizations. The goal would be to create a global consensus on how to handle these new and potentially volatile issues in a way that is just, fair, and humane. One of the most exciting and potentially risky aspects of first contact with extraterrestrial life is the potential for gaining access to alien technology. If an advanced alien civilization were to share its knowledge and technological resources with humanity, the impact on Earth could be nothing short of revolutionary. The introduction of alien technologies could reshape every aspect of human existence, from energy production to healthcare, space exploration, and even the nature of warfare. However, this immense opportunity comes with its own set of ethical dilemmas that humanity must carefully consider. First, let's explore the opportunities that alien technology could bring. Perhaps the most immediate and far-reaching benefit would be the access to sustainable energy sources. Human civilization is currently facing a global energy crisis. Fossil fuels are depleting, and the environmental impact of their use is catastrophic. If extraterrestrial civilizations had discovered ways to harness clean, inexhaustible energy, such as fusion power or zero-point energy, the implications for humanity would be profound. The ability to generate energy without damaging the environment could usher in an era of unlimited resources and help us solve some of the world's most pressing issues, such as climate change, resource depletion, and energy inequality. Imagine an alien civilization offering us the technology to solve the climate crisis. If we had access to alien technologies capable of removing carbon from the atmosphere or reversing the effects of global warming, the environmental transformation could be immeasurable. The ability to decarbonize our planet and transition to sustainable practices could lead to a global renaissance where the need to rely on fossil fuels or polluting technologies becomes obsolete. Similarly, alien medical advancements could help us combat diseases that have plagued humanity for centuries. What if the extraterrestrials have already found cures for cancer, AIDS, or even aging? Their technologies could introduce new methods of healing and health management, potentially leading to cures for illnesses that are currently untreatable. The potential for humanity to experience longer, healthier lives could dramatically improve quality of life across the globe, reducing suffering and increasing productivity. Space exploration would also be transformed by access to alien technology. The technologies for interstellar travel, which might allow us to reach other star systems, could unlock the potential for human colonization of other planets and the expansion of human civilization beyond Earth. With alien propulsion systems, we might explore distant galaxies, discover new worlds, and ultimately become a multi-planetary species. This could open up entirely new avenues for human development, creating a future in which intergalactic cooperation and expansion are possible. However, the introduction of alien technology would not come without its ethical dilemmas. The most pressing issue revolves around the distribution and control of such powerful technologies. Who controls alien technology? In the case of first contact, would we allow equal access to these breakthroughs, or would certain countries, corporations, or elite groups monopolize them for their own benefit? The power imbalance that could arise from alien technology could be enormous, creating deep economic and social divides. Wealthier nations, or those with the most resources, could dominate the use of alien technologies, leaving poorer countries behind and widening the gap between the haves and the have-nots. This issue raises a critical ethical question. How do we ensure that alien technologies are used for the common good? If alien advancements have the power to solve humanity's greatest challenges, we must ask, who decides how these technologies are used? Should governments, scientific organizations, or private corporations have the right to control access to these technologies, or should they be shared equitably among all nations and peoples? Another ethical dilemma revolves around the weaponization of alien technology. In the past, technological advancements on Earth have often been used for military purposes. The advent of nuclear weapons, for example, brought with it the potential for mass destruction. The same could happen with alien technology. If extraterrestrials offer us the means to harness vast amounts of energy, weaponize space, or develop new methods of warfare, could these technologies be used for peaceful or destructive purposes? The possibility that alien technologies could be used to control, oppress, or dominate other nations or civilizations is a real concern. The question of how to regulate the use of these technologies becomes a matter of global ethics. The ethical responsibility for the stewardship of alien knowledge also raises another important issue. What is our duty as recipients of such advanced technologies? Do we have the moral obligation to use these technologies responsibly and to prevent harm to other species, including aliens themselves? Could first contact force us to adopt a new cosmic perspective where we recognize that we have a responsibility to protect not only humanity, but also other forms of life in the universe. Finally, there is the question of coexistence with alien life forms themselves. If we gain access to alien technology and knowledge, it's possible that we may also encounter alien cultures, philosophies, and ways of life that are completely different from our own. How do we respect their autonomy and preserve their rights while interacting with them? Could we enter into a partnership with an alien civilization, where we share knowledge and collaborate for the benefit of all life? Or will the technological power gap between us and extraterrestrials result in a new form of exploitation and colonialism? These ethical questions will likely shape the way we interact with any extraterrestrial life forms and how we ensure that first contact is not simply an exercise in domination. The media will play an undeniably crucial role in shaping the global response to first contact with extraterrestrial life. How the discovery is presented, discussed, and communicated will have profound effects on the public's emotional, psychological, and societal reaction. Given the sheer scale of first contact, it is likely that the media will be the first place many people turn to for information, news, and analysis. The nature of the media's response could either help ease the public's fears and uncertainties or exacerbate anxieties, confusion, and misinformation. One of the most immediate concerns will be how governments and scientific organizations communicate the discovery to the public. Should governments choose to share the news right away, or will they opt for a more controlled release of information? Historically, governments have sometimes been reluctant to disclose information that could cause public panic, such as in the case of natural disasters, military conflicts, or health crises. With extraterrestrial life, there's a high probability that initial reactions could range from shock to disbelief, followed by a flood of questions. Who are these extraterrestrials? What do they want? Are they a threat to Earth? The way in which governments and scientific bodies manage this disclosure process could either calm the masses or lead to widespread panic. The media's responsibility in this scenario will be to ensure that facts are clearly presented and that speculation is minimized. However, there is a risk that sensationalized or exaggerated headlines could distort the reality of the situation. The presence of conspiracy theories is likely to emerge almost immediately. If the media fails to present the information in a measured, thoughtful way, the public perception of first contact could be clouded by fear and misinformation. For example, mainstream media outlets could play a vital role in explaining the science behind the discovery. Astronomers, biologists, and linguists could be enlisted to break down the potential implications of first contact in terms that are easily understandable but not overly simplistic. Explaining the technological and biological aspects of alien life, whether microbial, plant-like, or intelligent, could help the public process the information logically rather than emotionally. Scientists could also explain how the discovery fits into the larger cosmological framework and whether it's part of a growing body of evidence suggesting that life is more common in the universe than previously thought. The tone and language used by the media will also be a key factor in shaping how first contact is perceived. If the media uses dramatic language and emphasizes the potential for conflict, militarization, or even alien threats, it could create a climate of fear. Headlines like, "Are we in danger?" or "Are aliens coming to invade?" could easily overwhelm the public's ability to think rationally. Conversely, if the media approaches the topic with a calm, objective tone, emphasizing the potential for peaceful cooperation, scientific discovery, and mutual growth, it could foster a more positive, hopeful response. The balance between acknowledging the risks and celebrating the possibilities will be critical in guiding public sentiment. At the same time, social media will play a major role in how the news spreads and is discussed. In our modern age, information travels at lightning speed, and social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit will be flooded with real-time reactions from ordinary people, as well as from celebrities, experts, and even government officials. This rapid dissemination of information means that public opinion could form quickly and in waves. Some people might express excitement and curiosity, while others might be skeptical, fearful, or even dismissive of the news. What's more, social media could become a breeding ground for rumors, misinformation, and conspiracy theories about the extraterrestrials' true nature and intentions. While social media can be a tool for debunking false claims and spreading verified facts, it can also fuel hysteria and panic if not carefully managed. One of the most powerful aspects of the media's role in shaping public perception will be the narrative that emerges about the alien encounter. The narrative the media constructs about the aliens, whether they are presented as benevolent, neutral, or hostile, will influence how the global population reacts. A positive narrative, focusing on cooperation, peace, and learning, will encourage global collaboration and a sense of shared purpose. On the other hand, a fear-based narrative, focusing on the unknown or the potential threat posed by the extraterrestrials, will likely fuel paranoia, distrust, and conflict. The media must take great care in presenting a balanced narrative, one that recognizes the risks of first contact, but also celebrates the hope it offers. This narrative will also have to contend with cultural perspectives. Different cultures, religions, and societies will likely interpret the event through their own lenses, with each bringing its own biases, values, and fears. The media will need to account for these diverse cultural reactions and perspectives in its reporting. This means offering a broad range of viewpoints on the significance of first contact and how it fits into the story of humanity's evolution. Cultural leaders, including religious figures, philosophers, and social theorists, will play an important role in guiding their communities through the process of understanding and accepting the reality of extraterrestrial life. Finally, the media will be responsible for fostering global dialogue. As nations and peoples grapple with the implications of first contact, the media could provide a platform for international discourse, where the shared questions and concerns of all humanity are addressed. Through open discussions and forums, the media could help develop a unified global response to the challenges and opportunities presented by first contact. At the same time, media coverage could encourage nations to cooperate and exchange knowledge in a way that benefits the entire world, allowing for a more peaceful, collaborative future. The discovery of intelligent extraterrestrial life brings with it a host of ethical challenges that humanity will need to confront. While the potential benefits of first contact, such as scientific advancements, technological progress, and new cultural insights, are enticing, we must also consider the moral implications of interacting with a civilization far more advanced than our own. If extraterrestrials have developed technologies or social systems that allow them to traverse the stars, how should we approach them? Should we treat them as equals, or should we consider their advancements with suspicion or even fear? The first ethical question that arises is the right to contact. Should humanity have the authority to initiate contact with an alien civilization? Could such an action be considered irresponsible or even reckless? If an alien species has the technological capacity to engage with us, what makes us think that we, as a relatively young species on the cosmic stage, are equipped to handle such an encounter responsibly? This question becomes even more complex when considering the possibility that the aliens might not want to engage with us. Should we respect their silence if they choose not to make contact? Or should we push forward, believing that we have the right to communicate with them regardless of their wishes? This raises another critical ethical concern. What if the aliens do not share our values? What if their social structure, their understanding of life, or their moral principles are vastly different from ours? Would it be ethical for us to try and change or influence their way of life, or should we simply respect their autonomy? If they possess the capability to alter our reality, whether through technology, biology, or even cultural influence, how should we balance coexistence with preserving our own way of life? This question is not limited to the potential for harm, but extends to the broader issue of intercultural exchange. Could we, as a species, navigate the ethical minefield of interacting with beings who might have completely different moral systems than we do? In addition to these philosophical questions, the very nature of alien technology raises profound ethical challenges. If extraterrestrials offer us their knowledge and technology, should we accept it without question, or should we proceed with caution? If they offer solutions to our most pressing problems, such as climate change, disease, or food scarcity, how do we ensure that we use these new technologies in a way that is ethical and responsible? The weaponization of alien technology is a real concern. Advanced technologies could easily be turned into weapons of mass destruction. Even if alien life forms have a peaceful agenda, could their technology be misused by human factions or nations? Global arms races could escalate, and the temptation to use alien technology for military dominance might be overwhelming for some. Moreover, if the aliens have superior intelligence, what is our moral duty toward them? Do we have an obligation to protect them if they are vulnerable or at risk? Or should we adopt a more hands-off approach, allowing them to develop independently, as we have allowed other civilizations on Earth to do? The preservation of life, whether human or alien, becomes a central ethical concern. If extraterrestrial life is in danger, whether from their own species or from external threats, should humanity intervene to assist them? Or should we allow them to determine their own fate? There's also the ethical dilemma of resource exploitation. If the extraterrestrials have technologies or resources that we could use to improve our way of life, should we take advantage of them? Or should we respect their ownership and sovereignty? This question is particularly relevant if the aliens possess natural resources that could be beneficial to humanity. Would we be justified in exploiting these resources, or would that amount to colonialism, the exploitation of a weaker species by a more powerful one? Could humanity, in its excitement to harness alien technologies, fall into the same patterns of exploitation that have plagued our history? In the same vein, there's the question of how to ethically engage with alien life forms that might not have the same biological needs or psychological structure as us. How do we ensure that we do not harm or disturb their natural environment or ecosystems? If alien life forms are far more fragile or vulnerable than we realize, we must approach them with caution, considering the potential damage we could cause. As we have seen on Earth, humans often struggle to balance scientific exploration with environmental responsibility, and these ethical concerns would be amplified when dealing with extraterrestrial life. Finally, we must consider the moral consequences of encountering an alien species that is either vastly more advanced or more primitive than humanity. If they are far more advanced, we could face moral and ethical questions about the potential exploitation of their culture or resources. On the other hand, if they are significantly less advanced, we could be as the possibility of encountering extraterrestrial life becomes more tangible. The question arises, should humanity begin preparing for first contact now? While it may seem like a distant, almost science fiction scenario, many experts believe that we are not far from making significant strides in the search for alien life. With advancements in space exploration, the discovery of exoplanets in habitable zones, and the increasing sensitivity of our search instruments, we may be on the brink of discovering extraterrestrial intelligence. The question, however, is not just about when we might make contact, but how we prepare for it. There are a number of practical, scientific, and social considerations that must be addressed long before the moment of first contact occurs. If we fail to adequately prepare, we risk not only missing an opportunity for global cooperation and progress, but we may also expose ourselves to unforeseen dangers and challenges. The need for preparation is critical, and the time to start is now. The first step in preparing for first contact is to continue the search for extraterrestrial life, of course. SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, has been scanning the skies for signals from alien civilizations for decades. But so far, we have received no clear evidence that we are not alone. The discovery of biosignatures, signs of life, on distant exoplanets is an exciting avenue of research, but the search is still in its early stages. By continuing to invest in space missions and telescopic surveys, we will not only enhance our chances of discovering alien life, but also improve our ability to analyze and interpret any signals we might receive. These efforts will be key in building our scientific infrastructure to handle first contact if and when it happens. Moreover, we must invest in the development of communication technologies. If extraterrestrials reach out to us, or if we detect their presence, we will need to have the tools and frameworks in place to engage with them. Currently, we have no established protocols for alien communication, and our ability to understand alien languages, both biological and technological, is limited. Scientists from various fields, linguistics, neuroscience, artificial intelligence, and physics, will need to collaborate to develop systems capable of interpreting alien signals. Just as important is the creation of interdisciplinary networks that can help decipher complex alien messages when they arrive. But the technological preparation is only one part of the equation. Equally important is the psychological and social preparation of the global population. When first contact occurs, it will undoubtedly be one of the most psychologically disorienting and emotionally overwhelming experiences for humanity. The implications for self-identity, religion, and society will be profound. As we discussed earlier, people may experience everything from awe and excitement to fear, denial, and psychological distress. Governments, health organizations, and mental health professionals must be ready to address the emotional fallout of first contact. This could include offering counseling, providing information to reduce panic, and fostering a sense of global solidarity during the process of discovery. In addition to psychological readiness, cultural readiness is essential. Every culture around the world will react to first contact differently, depending on its beliefs, values, and history. Some cultures may see the discovery of extraterrestrial life as a confirmation of their spiritual or religious beliefs, while others may view it as a threat to their worldview. Cultural leaders, including religious figures, philosophers, and scholars, must be prepared to help their communities navigate this transformative moment. It's possible that religions or worldviews will need to evolve in the face of new knowledge, and the willingness of cultural and spiritual leaders to engage in dialogue about alien life could be crucial for maintaining social cohesion. Perhaps most importantly, humanity needs to prepare for the political ramifications of first contact. While global cooperation is the ideal response, history has shown that nationalism and geopolitical competition often take precedence over global unity. There is a real risk that nations may try to harness alien technology for their own advantage, or that military interests might overshadow efforts for peaceful cooperation. International governance structures, such as the United Nations, must be prepared to coordinate the global response to first contact, ensuring that all nations have an equal opportunity to participate in the dialogue with extraterrestrials. Developing a unified framework for managing alien resources, technologies, and interactions will be key to preventing conflict and exploitation. Given the possibility that extraterrestrial life could offer us advanced technology, we must also prepare for the ethical implications of receiving such gifts. The issue of who controls alien resources and how those resources are used will require international oversight. The power that comes with alien knowledge could change the balance of power on Earth, and if used irresponsibly, could lead to destructive outcomes. The development of ethical guidelines for using alien technology will need to be an integral part of global preparation efforts. Finally, humanity must engage in a broader conversation about the nature of life, intelligence, and our role in the universe. First contact could prompt us to reconsider our assumptions about the meaning of life, consciousness, and interdependence. It could help us expand our horizons, both figuratively and literally, as we realize that we are part of a larger cosmic community. If we are to respond to first contact with maturity and responsibility, we must begin preparing now, not only by improving our scientific capabilities, but also by evolving our ethical and philosophical perspectives on our place. The discovery of extraterrestrial life will undoubtedly have far-reaching consequences that extend well beyond the initial moments of contact. While we may focus on the immediate reactions, whether fear, excitement, or curiosity, it is the long-term implications of first contact that will truly shape the future of humanity. If we do make contact with an alien civilization, how will this experience transform us as a species? What does it mean for our understanding of humanity's place in the universe, our future survival, and our philosophical and cultural evolution? One of the most profound changes could be a complete reorientation of how we view ourselves. For centuries, human civilization has been shaped by the idea that we are the most intelligent species in the universe, the center of existence. Our religions, philosophies, and even our scientific understanding have been built around the concept that humanity is the pinnacle of life's evolution. The discovery of alien intelligence would challenge this assumption. We would no longer be able to maintain the idea of human exceptionalism, and our sense of self-importance in the cosmos would be drastically altered. But this shift in perspective could also be liberating. The realization that we are not alone in the universe, that intelligent life exists beyond Earth, could instill a profound sense of humility and curiosity. Humanity might come to see itself not as the center of existence, but as one species among many in a vast cosmic community. This could encourage us to adopt a more global and unified worldview, one in which we see ourselves as custodians of Earth and as participants in the larger cosmic story. This shift in perspective could have far-reaching implications for global cooperation. First contact with extraterrestrial intelligence could serve as the ultimate catalyst for international unity. Faced with a civilization beyond our own, the global community might finally recognize the importance of working together, not just as nations, but as a species. The existential challenges we face, such as climate change, nuclear proliferation, and resource depletion, would no longer be issues that individual nations can solve alone. Instead, humanity would be forced to collaborate and act as a single cohesive force if we are to survive and thrive in a universe shared with other life forms. Moreover, the technological advances that could come from first contact would likely be transformative, potentially leading to a new technological revolution. Imagine the potential for quantum computing, energy sources, and medical technologies that could be shared by extraterrestrial civilizations. If we can unlock these new technologies, we could see unprecedented growth in healthcare, sustainability, and space exploration. It could mark the beginning of an intergalactic era where human civilization is not confined to Earth but spreads out into the stars, eventually establishing colonies on other planets or moons. The possibility of becoming a multi-planetary species would change everything, from how we view space exploration to how we organize ourselves as a global society. At the same time, first contact could force humanity to confront difficult ethical questions about our place in the universe. The more advanced alien civilizations might not only offer us technological solutions, but also new ways of thinking about consciousness, life, and the nature of intelligence. How would we respond to their ideas? Would we accept them and evolve, or would we resist change, clinging to old beliefs and systems? The introduction of an alien perspective could force us to redefine what it means to be human, pushing us to develop new ethical frameworks and moral systems that take into account our expanded understanding of life and intelligence. If we are able to integrate these advanced technologies and philosophies into our society, it could lead to the rise of a new golden age for humanity, a time of unprecedented peace, prosperity, and scientific achievement. However, we must be cautious in ensuring that these advances do not lead to the further exploitation of vulnerable populations or the exacerbation of existing inequalities. The knowledge and technologies of alien civilizations could easily fall into the hands of those with self-interests, potentially leading to the consolidation of power and control in the hands of a few. To ensure a fair and just future, we would need to establish global ethical guidelines for the responsible use of alien technologies and ensure they benefit all of humanity. At the same time, the presence of extraterrestrial life could also lead to cultural exchange and a renaissance of human thought and creativity. If alien civilizations share their art, philosophy, and history, humanity could experience a profound cultural enrichment. We could learn new forms of expression, communication, and even artificial intelligence, and it could radically transform our understanding of beauty, meaning, and connection. Our own culture would likely be enriched by the alien contributions, and we might come to realize that what we think of as uniquely human is just a small part of the broader spectrum of consciousness and existence. This brings us to the future of intergalactic diplomacy. Once we have made contact with alien life, how will we relate to other species in the galaxy? What kind of intergalactic agreements and alliances could we form? Would we work with other extraterrestrial species to explore the universe, share resources, and resolve conflicts peacefully? Or would we fall into the same patterns of competition and conflict that have marked human history? Our future as a species may very well depend on our ability to establish diplomatic relations with alien civilizations and create a peaceful and cooperative future for all life forms. One of the most striking aspects of first contact is the unknown nature of the event. While we can prepare scientifically, politically, and socially, the reality is that we simply do not know what form first contact will take or how it will unfold. The discovery of alien life is one of the greatest unknowns humanity has ever faced. There are so many variables that we cannot predict, including the motivations, intentions, and behaviors of extraterrestrial life forms. For all our planning, we must remain flexible and open-minded, ready to adapt to a situation that will undoubtedly present challenges we cannot foresee. First contact could take many forms. The aliens might choose to initiate contact through a simple communication, such as sending a message or signal. They might make themselves visible to us through spacecraft or other physical manifestations. Alternatively, they might choose a more passive approach, allowing us to discover them through scientific exploration or observation. The level of advancement and the nature of their communication will play a critical role in how we respond. An alien species with superior technology and vast knowledge could communicate with us in ways that we may not even be able to comprehend initially. This is where the concept of open-mindedness becomes crucial. As humans, we are used to thinking in terms of our own experiences, values, and technologies. It's easy to assume that any intelligent life we encounter will have similar motivations, desires, or communication styles. But what if they communicate in a way that is fundamentally alien to us? What if their understanding of time, space, or consciousness is so different from ours that we struggle to even recognize their form of communication? We need to be prepared to question everything we think we know about intelligence, life, and the universe. Our framework for understanding the world will need to evolve, and we will have to expand our mental boundaries to accommodate these new possibilities. To be truly prepared for first contact, humanity must also cultivate a mindset of humility. While the idea of meeting a more advanced civilization might initially inspire feelings of awe or even inferiority, it's important to remember that there may be aspects of their culture, technology, or biology that we do not understand. We may face the temptation to assume that we are the pinnacle of development, but the truth is that alien civilizations may have faced challenges, developed ideas, and discovered solutions in ways that we cannot yet imagine. Their progress may not be linear or based on the same principles we follow. Humility will allow us to approach the encounter with the understanding that we do not have all the answers and that collaboration and mutual learning will be necessary. The need for flexibility is also tied to the reality that first contact might not be entirely peaceful or friendly. While we hope for peaceful cooperation and a fruitful exchange of knowledge, we cannot ignore the possibility that aliens could view us as a threat or as insignificant. They might not share our values of cooperation, fairness, or preservation of life. Their goals might be radically different from ours, and we need to be ready for any unexpected outcomes. They might seek to exploit humanity's resources, manipulate our political systems, or simply bypass us altogether. First contact could involve elements of coercion, domination, or control, and humanity must remain resilient in the face of these potential risks. However, the fact that we do not know what will happen should not be viewed as a weakness, but an opportunity for growth. The discovery of extraterrestrial life represents a moment of profound expansion in our understanding of the universe, and it is crucial that we embrace the uncertainty of the situation. Adapting to the unknown requires us to let go of our preconceived notions and be willing to reimagine what is possible. The questions that first contact will raise are as much about who we are as a species as they are about the alien life forms we encounter. Our ability to evolve and learn in response to new knowledge will define how we face this challenge and how we move forward as a species. The scientific community must also be open-minded in its approach to extraterrestrial life. While current research in astrobiology and SETI has already set the groundwork for the detection of alien life, many scientists may hold certain assumptions about what forms of life are likely to exist. For instance, much of our thinking about extraterrestrial life has been based on the assumption that it must follow similar patterns to life on Earth. But what if alien life operates in a completely different way, perhaps based on elements or conditions we've never considered? The scientific community will need to remain open to new possibilities and alternative theories in order to properly understand what we encounter. One of the most important lessons we can learn from the possibility of first contact is the need for global cooperation. The unexpected nature of the event calls for a unified response. No single nation or entity can handle such a monumental task on their own. A collective, coordinated response will be essential for addressing the scientific, ethical, social, and political aspects of first contact. The decision to initiate contact, to engage with extraterrestrial technology, and to interpret the signals they send will have to be a global effort. Open-mindedness and cooperation will be key to navigating these unprecedented challenges. As we reach the final segment of our exploration into the potential dangers, hopes, and challenges of first contact with extraterrestrial life, we must step back and reflect on the bigger picture, the long-term consequences of what this discovery could mean for humanity and its place in the universe. The discovery of alien life, especially intelligent life, represents a moment of immense significance for our species. It will challenge every aspect of our identity, from our understanding of life to our philosophy, science, and even our spirituality. One of the most profound impacts of first contact will be the way it reshapes our self-image as a species. For centuries, humans have looked to the stars with wonder, pondering the possibility of life beyond Earth. The thought that we might be the only intelligent beings in the universe has informed our sense of purpose and identity. But once we discover that we are not alone, that other civilizations have existed or still exist in the vast reaches of the cosmos, it will force us to redefine who we are in relation to the universe. The humbling realization that we are not the center of existence could push us to rethink our place in the grand scheme of life. This shift in perspective could open new avenues for growth. The knowledge that we share the universe with others could instill a deeper sense of responsibility toward each other and toward the Earth itself. If humanity's self-concept was once rooted in a belief of exceptionalism, first contact could encourage us to adopt a more egalitarian view, one that sees us as just another part of a larger cosmic community. With this realization, we might be more likely to act in harmony with one another and the planet, fostering greater cooperation and sustainability. The potential to unite around this common knowledge could reshape global politics and society, leading to more collaborative efforts to tackle problems like climate change, poverty, and technological inequality. The discovery of extraterrestrial life could also bring about a renaissance in human thought. It could reignite the spirit of exploration, just as the discovery of new lands once fueled the curiosity and ambition of explorers in past centuries. Our scientific community would be energized by the opportunity to study alien life forms, learn from their technologies, and explore their cultures. This could spark a new age of discovery, one in which interstellar exploration becomes a feasible and important goal for humanity. Technological advancements driven by the knowledge gained from alien civilizations could take us to distant stars, perhaps allowing us to colonize other worlds and expand humanity's reach beyond the confines of Earth. However, the long-term implications of first contact may not all be positive. The encounter with a more advanced civilization could come with the danger of cultural domination or technological oppression. Just as past encounters between civilizations on Earth have often led to the subjugation and exploitation of less advanced peoples, we must consider the possibility that extraterrestrials could use their advanced technology or knowledge to control or exploit humanity. While we might hope for cooperation, the reality of dealing with a vastly superior civilization presents risks that must be carefully managed. The balance between curiosity and caution will be critical as we navigate this unfamiliar terrain. Another consideration is the potential moral evolution that could come from first contact. Meeting an alien species will not just be a physical encounter, but a moral one. Their understanding of ethics, rights, and responsibilities could challenge the very foundations of our own moral frameworks. As we exchange knowledge, it's possible that their philosophies could expand our understanding of life, helping us develop new ways of thinking about life's value, consciousness, and the nature of intelligence. Perhaps first contact will lead humanity to adopt a new universal ethic, one that transcends our human-centered views and recognizes the intrinsic value of all forms of life, whether human, alien, or otherwise. Yet, even with all the potential for growth and advancement, we must also remain cautious of the unknown consequences. We cannot predict the long-term outcomes of interacting with a civilization that has technology and knowledge far beyond our own. The exchange of ideas and resources could lead to a technological leap that radically alters the course of human history. While we can hope for the best, we must also consider the worst-case scenarios, how we might lose control over these new technologies, how they might be used for destructive purposes, or how our interaction with alien life could lead to unintended consequences. Humanity's survival and future will depend not just on how we approach first contact, but on how we manage the responsibility that comes with this new knowledge. As we look toward the future, one thing is certain. First contact will mark a turning point in human history. It will challenge everything we think we know about the universe and our place within it. It will force us to confront deep questions about life, intelligence, ethics, and the nature of existence. Humanity's response to these questions will define the future of our species. Whether we choose to embrace the challenge and opportunities of first contact, or whether we fall prey to fear, greed, and self-doubt. The choices we make will determine whether we become a flourishing member of the galactic community or remain a small, isolated species struggling to find its place in a vast and mysterious universe. The question now is, are we ready? The answer is not just about science, technology, or diplomacy. It's about whether we are ready to confront our own humanity, our flaws, our strengths, our fears, and our potential. If we approach first contact with open minds, humble hearts, and a commitment to the common good, we could usher in a new era of human progress and intergalactic cooperation. But if we allow our divisions, fears, and self-interest to drive us, we risk missing an opportunity to achieve something truly extraordinary.